Welcome to Almost Functional Gaming. We aim to help all followers of Russ and the Allfather to improve on the tabletop. List building, tournament recaps, unit reviews, weekly council of the Fang, and other tips to help us all go from almost functional to fully functional. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional score tracker on Amazon.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Here again with Aiden.
Happy Tuesday. Glad to be back. Yeah, talking Wolves.
Yep, every Tuesday we're here talking Wolves. So first, we got our first member on
Cameron.
YouTube.
Let's go, man. That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Cameron. Yeah, we appreciate the support. I have started uploading our non-live videos to member only first, and then a day or two later they'll release out to everybody. So if you want early access to that stuff, you can become a member. Otherwise, I'll start coming up with some more stuff as that community grows, and it's worth doing.
Totally. Yeah. Brian, good to see you again. I always love seeing familiar faces.
Yeah, we're starting to recognize a lot of names every week now.
A lot of regulars. Matt and I were just talking. There's not a lot of Space Wolf content out there. I was myself looking up Space Wolf content on YouTube. There's just not a lot.
No, there's not. Yeah, because Hobby Goblins hasn't put out a lot of Space Wolf stuff in the last couple of weeks. They were spamming us with it for a minute, doing like 2 a week and stuff, and then they're like, I guess they kind of said like, all right, we got to give some other people some love for a minute. But I know Dan will get them. I know Dan will get them back up there soon.
Totally. Dan's always kicking it with the Space Wolves. He's killing it. He's also been painting a lot.
Yeah.
That man is a demon of painting. Every 2 days, he's like, oh, I just finished this next unit.
Yeah. And it's worth watching some of the other battle reports just to learn what some of the other armies do if you don't know what they do, just so you know what to do when you fight them.
Totally.
And Art of War does occasionally. Like they just had a good one a couple days ago with Michael Mann, who's doing their Space Wolves now, playing into the Blood Angels from one of the Team USA guys for WTC. Can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but really good Blood Angel player. And that was a really good match. I was happy with I really liked his list in that. It's come a long way from his first thought on Wolves when he didn't know Marines, and we were all kind of bashing him a little bit. I think he's starting to really find his stride with Wolves, Michael.
He is. Yeah, it takes a little while to figure out a good groove for them.
Yeah, well, I played him at a GT right before Wolves became official, and I think I set him straight. So all his success, I'm going to take credit for. Michael, if you watch this, you're welcome.
There you go. Yes.
No. All the stuff I wanted to talk to him about after watching his video, he had already figured out when him and I were talking at the table. Like, he's a good player for a reason. Once he got some reps with the Army, he started to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think that's where most people are going. I mean, there's a lot of different builds still. But people are flushing out the codex.
Yeah, there's some variations in there, but you bring in some of the Terminators, you bring in some Thunderwolf Cav, you probably bring in Bjorn, you most likely bring in Logan. You probably got at least one head taker, whether you're doing a 6 or a 3, paired, alone, Ragnar, Wolf. Like so what you do with the head takers changes, but there's like some similarities in all the lists, but there's also the back end has a lot of variety.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. And the detachment determines a lot of how you play.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Speaking of detachment, I'm hearing some news about you switching detachments. You tired of Champions of Fenris already?
I'm not saying tired, but I think I've figured out what I wanted to figure out with them. So yeah, there's a video coming out tomorrow where I give a full breakdown of what I was doing with Champions. But yeah, I'm ready to move on to something else. It isn't as bad as everybody tried to say it was.
Right.
I think it falls right B tier. Like I think that's where we put it on our rankings. It's not our best detachment. It's not S. It's not A. There's a few other detachments I think that unlock us a little better.
Yep.
But there are some things that I really liked. The stealth, which is something I was super excited about. There's too much stuff that I can ignore modifiers and ignore cover.
Right.
So that strat really wasn't as impactful in as many games as I was hoping. Now, the games where they couldn't counter it did come up big, but there's too many things that just like, I ignore hit modifiers, or I ignore cover, or their AP is high enough where, having cover doesn't matter. They're already taking you to the invul. So that wasn't quite as good as I was hoping it would be. The sticky objectives was great. The OC2 Terminators was great.
Fantastic.
The up-down really, unless I put something on turn 1 and picked up a Terminator Squad turn 1, really, and you could have just started them in reserve. It really didn't come in that big. The sustained lethal, they have a strat where you can choose to be sustained or lethal. I like that one as opposed to most attachments you have a strat and you're just stuck with one of them.
Right.
So that versatility was nice. So there are some things that are like you can have some success with it, but I think there are some things that's missing. There's no advance in charge unless you bring a unit that does it, which means you're putting Ragnar with head takers or blood claws. And I think you really want to tech into Terminators, and you really want to bring one non-Terminator character or a Space Wolf, or not a Space Marine Terminator character that's able to take enhancements, so you can get the 6-inch enhancements. So you're either taking a battle leader or a chaplain, or not a chaplain, a wolf priest with head takers. I guess you could put them in blood claws, but I like them head takers better.
Right. Yeah.
So you just really don't have the points for taking Ragnar 2 or taking the blood claws in that detachment.
Yeah, they don't really get much out of it except for the 3-inch heroic, which can be very easily played around.
Yeah, the fact that you can't put the enhancement in there.
But I do like some of the saving graces, like OC2 Terminators is really
great. Yep. Oh, there's some things that I really enjoyed and I really liked, and all my games were really close. Well, I had one or two where I won kind of big, but even most of my losses were close. Where it's like, but at the end, running the Terminator squads, they're so hard to kill. Not having access to fallback in charge made the games where I was fighting non-infantry armies, where I was fighting like Crusher Stampede, or you're fighting Knights, where you can get just stuck there, where the Knights can shoot out, the monsters can shoot out. You're not doing enough damage in combat. They're not really hurting you in combat, so you're not dying, but you're just kind of stuck there. I mean, they're stuck there too, but your thing, I found my things were more important. I needed them to go other places, do other stuff. So that was just real downside there. No advance in charge, no fallback in charge. This really hurts.
Yeah.
The big bricks of Termies.
And you're running the 10-mans, right? Or 1 10-man?
I'm running 1 10-man with RJack, which is the one that really, really notices when they get stuck.
Totally. Okay, so Champions of Fenris, it's like B tier. I'm glad you explored it. Some good content. It's not F tier.
No, it's right on par. I wouldn't say it's better or worse than Hunter. It just plays different. Any of other outside Gladius and Stormlance, if you want to run more combat wolves, it's better than pretty much any of the other regular Marine detachments. So it's not bad. I'd put Gladius and Stormlance, Bold, and Beast Slayer ahead of it. But right there for combat, it's probably right there in the fifth detachment. Iron Storm, which I know we'll get into with you, is above it, but it's a different place that's more shooty, which I don't think Fenris is trying to do. So it's probably around 6, 7 for just overall Space Wolf detachment, but it's not the bottom like a lot of people want to say it is.
Wow, proving the haters wrong. So,
partially wrong. It's not amazing. It's not like, oh, you're not going to win an event with it, other than like maybe a little RTT, but like you're not going to win a GT or a major with it. But you're definitely not going to go 0-5 with it.
Yeah. Okay, right in the middle of the pack. So what are you leaning towards now? You've tried out Champions of Fenris. You played a lot of Bold.
Yeah. So like we were talking about Michael Mann, I watched his Gladius game and his Gladius build, and I really liked the full fight on death strat, the ability to advance in charge and fall back in charge in the same detachment. You have a Lance and an AP1, +1 AP, which I think is really, really helpful, which that +1 wound can be real big for us. There's no lethal or sustained, which is a little, but you get the +1 to wound, so it's like kind of a trade-off there.
Kind of a trade-off.
Yeah, because wounding on 6s versus wounding 1 better on your hits. I didn't actually math it out, but I don't think there's much difference there. The only nice thing about the lethals was you don't have to have charge. You can get charged or be in an ongoing combat, and lethals works. Lance is only if you charge.
Right.
But with the access to fall back and charge, just make sure you charged.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gladius is the best well-rounded detachment we have.
Yeah, like it has average. Yeah, it just has all the tools in the toolbox. Like my build, the Devastator Doctrine won't be too big. It'll help the Predators for 1 turn, but they're not really they're nice. Like, they give a little shooting. Like, I like having a couple shooting platforms for run into, mostly for those melee mirrors. Oh, those guys are in a Rhino, the World Eaters, or someone is an Impulsor if you're fighting like Black Templars or something. Like, I don't have to charge the transport, kill it, then they get out and get to charge me.
And then, yeah, exactly.
So they're like really nice for picking up that transport, and then you can charge their unit. And as long as they have fight first, you do damage first.
Yeah, you do need shooting. I don't think there is an all melee build that can not get hard countered and just automatically lose when it starts on the board.
On GW formats. Those people, because that one guy in our chat, they're playing on WTC.
It's really heavy terrain.
I think if you get away with it on WTC, actually, I think it might even be if we did WTC around here. WTC, I think that I might prefer all combat. I wouldn't even probably play around with shooting if we had all those good staging areas that they have on that. Because your opponent stages, you're not getting good line of sights. So on that, I might consider playing around with all combat, but on GW layouts, you can find some good lanes. And even in the night matchups, if you can, most of our units aren't going to pick a knight up in one round, other than Wolfen maybe. So being able to put if you can do like 10-ish wounds to it before you go in, now you can realistically pick up a big knight. Predator picking up a little knight without having to go over there is potentially doable. So I like having it as the threat, and also other people when they have shooting. Like I've noticed that fighting is Eldar and stuff, or other Marines. If you don't have shooting, they can be a lot more aggressive with their shooting platforms.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
So if, they have just like a fire prism or a Predator or a Lancer, they can't just sit in the open if you have your Predator sitting there hidden where they can pop out, because you can remove their shooting. So it just forces people to be more cautious with their angles.
Yeah, it absolutely is better. Just a more well-rounded list.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, you're shooting. It sounds like you're running 2 Predators. You still like them?
Yes, they're fine. For 135 points, they're cheap. You get 4 shots once, 3 shots the rest of the time. I do like the full reroll damage into monster and vehicles.
Right.
One of the guns is already twin-linked. So if you're not shooting your oath target, you have no rerolls to hit, which sucks a little bit. And then the 2 side las cannons don't get to reroll to wound. So you can just roll bad and whiff. They have done that to me.
Yep.
But you get a couple wounds through, you roll that 1 on the damage. Most of the time you're stuck with it. You at least get a chance to reroll it into another one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Craig is actually saying something about that. Just finished a game with Blood Angels, 95-63 win. Congrats. Yes. Team Jacob for the win.
No, yes. Oh, God.
Team Jacob versus Team Edward. He says he's doing a Predator. So Predators
135 points. Yeah. I like them a little better than the Ballistus at 140. It has its own. The Ballistus gets the built-in rerolls for the most part. If you're shooting something above half strength, which is nice. But 2 of its guns are only strength 10, and it doesn't have the reroll to damage. So for 5 points cheaper, I like the Predator. And I do like the Lancers, but at 25 points cheaper, running 2 Predators over 2 Lancers just gives me more stuff. Basically gives me the Fenrisian unit I run, which I really like the Fenrisian Wolves.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a wash between Lancers and Predator Annihilators. Lancers get to reroll 1 hit, wound, and damage, but you can reroll all damage, so it kind of like evens out, seems like, in the end.
Yeah, I think they're very comparable. And without the Iron Priest, the 72 versus the 48 doesn't really matter because you don't have the rapid fire. With the rapid fire, when we were really, really heavy on the Iron Priest, it mattered. But if you want to run the Iron Priest with him, then at 220 points, 1 Lancer is better than 135 point Predator, but it's a lot more of an expense.
Totally. Barry is saying about to go against Knights in 5 minutes. Good luck, man.
Knights are tough.
They really are. They're undercosted right now. Yeah. They're undercosted by like 10 or 15%. They need to lose like 1 big knight.
Especially if they're running Canis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Canis, Chaos Knights, gosh, they shoot so hard. I'll talk about my game I played last night into a really good player, Zach Point. He was running Chaos Knights, trying out triple despoilers plus another big and 3 carnivores. I didn't respect their shooting, and I should have. They put out like 108, 6 strength 6, AP2, 2 damage with lethals.
Yeah.
They picked up anything they saw. It was such a bad matchup. You really have to make sure you leverage your damage against knights. Don't let them pick you off. Pick a flank, just go all in.
Yep, and overkill one knight as opposed to half damage in 2 knights.
Exactly, totally.
And know which knights you need to go after first.
Right. Yeah. They shouldn't drop 100 points for losing 1 toughness. Yeah, they lost 1 toughness, gained 4 wounds, and then dropped 100 points. So there's like no reason they need to be that cheap. Craig's saying against Knights at Barry, I hope you're playing Beast Slayer. Lethals and +1 to hit. Probably, I think he means +1 to wound should be your go-to. No invulnerable saves against melee generally. Ragnar's AP3 is great. Totally. Especially if you can get rerolls to wound from the Blood Claws. They're not going to 1 down a night. They'll probably do about half, Even with +1 to wound, you can kind of roll a little hot, roll a little worse. Definitely chip it down with some shooting first.
Oh, yeah. Beast Slayer is really good into there. Any detachment where you have access to lethal or lance. And, just focus fire on one as opposed to committing to a bunch. And that's always been my biggest problem against knights. I'm like, this unit statistically should kill this one, so I'm going to go after that one. And then my unit whiffs. Oh, now both knights are alive, and I lose.
And then, boom. Yep.
Yeah, just guarantee a kill. And depending on your list, just know which ones to kill. Because when I played Chaos Knights at ATC, they had those Abominates. It looked like they had this really scary plasma. It's not that scary. If they don't roll 6s for the mortals, it's AP0. It is flat 3 damage, but most of your stuff's 4 wounds. You got to kill the Actropos. You got to kill the spoilers. You got to go. So just know which targets are more threatening to your army and try to take them out first.
Yeah, totally. I wish I had played that game differently against Knights. We do have a game into Knights, which I'm happy about.
Mm-hmm.
We really do. I did feel like I could win that if I knew what to do and I executed. I really had a fighting chance. So anyway, back to your Gladius list.
Yes. So it's very similar to my Champion Defenders. Honestly, only a few slight tweaks, just basically where I saved points from taking Wolves Wisdom and Champion Defenders. I think it was like 30 points. Now I just took the Honor Vehement, I believe it's called, on the Battle Leader instead to give him extra attacks and AP or damage. I don't know. It gives buffs him some. I have to look at it. I'm still learning the Gladius list. But so it's still Logan and Arjak. Logan with a 5-man, Arjak with a 10-man. Battle Leader with 6 head takers. Instead of the drop pod, I'm in the Impulsor. That's another big takeaway is I tried the drop pods for a little bit. I'm not sold on it.
Yeah.
It's like you can drop in and try to stage. If you're trying to hit the 9 out of it, you can hold it back and try to rapid ingress. I'd rather just be in the Impulsor, use it to position turn 1. You get the 3 inches out of it. You could advance and charge out of it, and depending on your detachment, I just like the Impulsor for 10 more points, getting you places. It has OC, it has shots, it can move after it's down. The drop pod basically just sits there until your opponent draws bring it down after you drop your unit. So drop pod's okay, and you can find ways to make it work, but I don't think it's great. I definitely prefer the Impulsor.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It doesn't synergize too much with Wolves.
Yeah, if you're running a shooting unit and you're dropping in and just picking something up with like Stern Guard or Hellblood, there's something like that in there with like a lieutenant and like, all right, then you can drop it in and actually do your damage when you arrive. Wolves, if you don't hit that 9-inch, you're just trying to stage for another turn, or you drop in, fail the 9, and you're standing there. So I prefer the Impulsor for delivering like head takers and stuff.
Kind of agree. Yeah, Impulsor's helpful. Lesson he learned playing Black Templar. Yeah, I mean, definitely transports are quite good.
Oh, I always ran Impulsors. I was just trying the drop pod to try something different. But yeah, I've been big on Impulsors for a while. There's been times where I run 2 of them. But like, yeah, Impulsors are amazing.
Barry is saying he's got his 10 Wolfen with a Battle Leader to go in it with Unbeast Slayer. Yeah, that is our best unit to take down a knight in a single swing.
All right, with sustained, like that's one thing I will miss from Champions Feminist is running in. I twice picked up a Norn. First time I did 30 damage. Second time I did 33 damage with the Wolfen. And this was without the Battle Leader. I just popped the strat for sustained on the Oath target. And Anti-Monster, Anti-Vehicle 3, they just pick stuff up.
They really do. They really do. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Gladius is just all around the best attachment. You can't go wrong with Gladius. I did see
I don't know. I wouldn't say best. I'd say most reliable, most consistent.
well-rounded. Yeah.
Yes, you just know it's going to do the same thing for you every game. Like Stormlance, I still think might possibly be the best attachment. It's just you're still playing the jail play style, which can get boring.
Yeah, it does have a hard counter. I'm kind of moving away from Stormlance.
Yes.
Speaking of, yeah, I find that Stormlance is amazing into certain archetypes like shooting or mixed combat, really heavy shooting, and maybe even really heavy combat, or really durable armies. I found that like the damage in Stormlance was lacking. With the pre-nerf Iron Priest, that was the best army I played in a long time.
Yeah.
It had really good shooting damage. It had really good mobility. Had really good, decent melee damage.
Because now the Thunderwolves don't have the characters to help buff their damage.
Nope.
None of the other units in there get access to the lance. It's only the mounted. So the Thunderwolves, even though they're 3 damage now, they don't hit as hard as they did with the characters.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, like, I would shoot, like I said, I think I explained this earlier. I shot a Death Shroud unit in charge of the 6-man, used Lance. I killed 3 out of 6 with, like, a whole unit, like, 300 points shooting, plus 250 points charging, plus 1 CP, and I didn't kill that unit. And I'm like, this doesn't feel good. And then they just kind of got eviscerated on the swing back. The Thunderwolves, I think I'm realizing about Thunderwolves, and maybe people have had this realization, they are really incredible skirmishers. They're super durable. They are very fast. They hit pretty hard, but they are not the best damage dealers that we have. Head takers, shooting can be better. Wolfen can be better and against their preferred target. Thunderwolves damage actually is into bigger targets, T10 or durable elites that are 4 wounds with like a 2-up save, maybe AOC. Thunderwolves can kind of bounce, like especially in a knights, like 6 Thunderwolves, 220 points, which is 2/3 the cost of a knight with lance. They are doing like maybe half wounds to a knight. I don't know. It just doesn't add up to where you want it to go.
I find the best use for them is to throw them into something like Sanguinary Guard, Blade Guard, small units that have 3 wounds.
Yep.
In there with AP2, wounding on 4s, 3s or 4s, make them take that invul, and if they fail it, they're going to lose more than you're going to lose. And now they're tied up because if you kill 2 or 3, they're probably good chance they don't kill the Thunderwolves back. Now they're stuck in combat on their turn. So that's what I like, throw them into like 3 damage elite stuff.
They're incredible skirmishers. They love going after rhinos, T9. They love going after JPI. They love going after elite infantry with 3 wounds. They're very good units. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they can be the core of your damage.
No, they're a supplemental piece.
Yes, totally. Peaches is saying late to the chat. First thing is I hear is no drop pod. Hear me out. Single drop pod, 6-man head takers a character, 5-man furnace. I mean, it's a pretty solid package. Deep striking your Grimnar or Terminators. Logan and 5 Terminators or Arjak and 5 Terminators can really establish like a base of operations midboard turn 1. I love that.
Yeah. Well, what I've found is against good players, they don't give you a good spot on their side of the board to drop early. So you're holding the drop pod back to maybe try to wrap it, or you're just dropping in a spot that you could have got to with the impulsor anyway.
Totally. Yeah. And also with, again, against good players, they're not going to give you, they're going to screen with really cheap units. Yeah. So if you make that 9-inch charge, you're going to charge like scouts or an empty rhino or like, stuff you don't really want to attack.
Yeah. And I find, the impulsor, if they go first and they push a little bit, a lot of times you can have a real short charge, just getting 3-inch out, moving and advancing or not advancing, depending on the attachment or whether you have Ragnar, and getting into them as opposed to dropping the pod back now because they pushed up and hoping to hit a 9. I wanted the pod to work. I really liked it. I think it's best for protecting shooting units and dropping them in, which isn't something we're really trying to do with most wolf lists. So pods have their uses. I just don't think, at least not the way I'm playing wolves, it's better than the impulsor.
Yeah, midboard drop behind cover since we can't use a rhino, and I don't want to pay 180 points for a large transport. I mean, yeah, totally. If you're running maybe even like a 10-man blood claw unit, getting them up to midboard early on could be good use of a drop pod.
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah, but like I said, if they have infiltrating, if they have scouts, if they go first, you're not really having a good midboard drop. You're really dropping behind midboard on your side most of the time.
Totally. This is an interesting point of discussion. I want to talk to you about seeing a lot of lists that don't have head takers. Are they an underwhelming unit? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been seeing that. Not even lists that aren't taking them. Lists that are just taking like little 3-man. So I'm like, I really like them, but I liked Blade Guard before, and I think they're just our version of Blade Guard. I like the dev wounds into stuff. But for the same point as Termies, I've thought about that, just taking another Termy squad. I just can't add a character to it. I could drop my head takers and buff Logan's up to a 10-man too and have 2 10-mans. If we had a third character that could join Terminators, I would almost take that over head takers at this point. But having the dev wounds precision in some matchups is really, really nice.
Right.
So I don't think they're bad, or I wouldn't say underwhelming. I think some people are just finding better options for what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I do like them with the battle leader.
Yes. I think for me, they need buffs. They need at least 2 buffs to be good. Mm-hmm. Lance, sustained, maybe, dev wounds. If you just take them on face value, they are a little underwhelming. 522 is not a crazy profile. We have other units, Thunderwolves, that are 523 that are cheaper and more durable, that move faster. So if you don't stack buffs on them, they really do underperform.
And Terminators are the same point for the same profile. 1 less guy, but 1 extra wound and a 2-up save.
Way more, arguably more mobile. I mean, it just kind of depends. Impulsor versus head takers. They're versus deep striking.
But I still run one. I still like them. I run the 2 Termy bricks and them. So I don't. But they can. If you get them into something that isn't their quarry, they can occasionally just bounce, and it feels
totally.
Good.
My personal experience running head takers, probably 10 or 12 games, I've been a little underwhelmed personally.
And not even on their damage, more when somebody shoots my T5 neg 1 to wound Terminators versus shooting my T4 Blade Guard or head takers that aren't -1 to wound, 4 damage versus this die compared to the Terminators, they die real easy, which can be like, man, these Terminators sat through everything, and these head takers just almost all died to the first thing that hit them.
Totally, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think if I was playing Hunter or Gladius or maybe even Beast Slayer, things that gets them buffs really easily, I like taking them. But in Stormlance, currently I'm running Iron Storm. I'll talk about it in a second. I just don't think they need buffs to be good, and there are certain attachments that just don't buff them well.
Yeah. Argonaut. Yeah, I found the best way to deal with that is not to put the quarry on the thing you want to get into at the start of the game. Put it on like one of their little skirmish units they put up midboard that maybe even your head takers can't get to. That something else is going to kill, because as soon as it dies, you can shift it. So just position yourself so that, oh, my Thunderwolves or Terminators killed the scout squad, but my head takers charged the thing I really wanted on. Just swing your Terminators whatever first, or try to kill it in shooting, then immediately switch it onto the target your head takers are in. Because I found if I put it on the thing I really want to get, they'll move it away from the head takers.
Yeah. I've not quite gotten that down yet. That like pacing of picking and choosing.
It's rough to figure out. Yeah, it's. But if you can work that out, and then like they're like a surprise, now the quarry's over here. Like it can really hurt your opponent.
Yeah, and honestly, the Wolf Priest is a very good buffing unit for head takers, and even Ulrich in those attachments I mentioned, like getting they need +1 to wound. No matter what, they need +1 to wound. 522 is just not good enough without +1 to wound. And then preferably dev wounds, but that is kind of a little more difficult to play around.
Yeah, I like the hammer and the sustained hits, but yeah, having that +1 to wound, it might be better. I haven't played around with it yet. I've used Ragnar and I've just started using the battle leader. I'm gonna have to try to run the priest and see what I feel best, but that +1 wound might in the end be better than getting a couple extra hits.
Yeah, I do have one unit of 3-man in my Ironstorm list, but that's kind of purely because I had like 100 points, 110 points left over, and I could get 2 units. One of them was a real unit, and I can screen better and do action better. And
one of them's a real unit, and the other one's the head takers.
Yeah. Oh my God, brutal. I think my takeaway is they can really swing up on damage. Their durability is not great. In order to swing up on damage, you need to put multiple buffs on them.
Yeah, but I have the advantage of I was running lots of Blade Guard before with Ragnar. I was always running a squad, so other than not getting the reroll ones to either hit or save in combat, I get the dev loop. But other than that, they play exactly the same way with 1 inch extra movement. So I kind of have an idea of how to play them just from having a lot of experience with them. But yeah, they're definitely not going to be like the most amazing thing at all times, but they're decently durable. Just the Terminators make them feel like they're not, but they still are.
They still are. Interesting question, Mash. We'll see how it's been playing out, how it plays out. But I personally have kind of been leaning away from them.
Yes, yeah, I see a lot of people doing that. I just like the look of the models and the feel of their playstyle, which may be holding me back. Honestly, we'll see. But like,
yeah,
I still enjoy them, so I haven't got around to dropping them yet.
Totally.
They haven't been that big a disappointment to me, but they're like, yeah, sometimes they feel like, man, that died easier than I wanted it to.
Yeah, and I think caveat, I've been running only detachments that don't buff them very well. So that's kind of
true. Yeah, you've been doing Ironstorm and Stormlance. Yeah, I can see not running them there. In bold, I still like them in bold because there's a lot of 3 damage out there, which your Terminators don't care about. And all of a sudden, you make it -1 damage. Now you're to shooting. Now your head takers stick around a little longer.
Yeah, I mean, they actually are really good in bold with -1 damage. That's really powerful. And the 6-inch heroic, quite also powerful to lethals on them. Yep. Quite good.
Yeah, so we went over my Gladius. You want to get into your Ironstorm list a little bit?
Totally. Yeah. I had a couple of disappointing games with Stormlance. Overall, it's been good, but since the Iron Priest nerf, I'm back to pre-Codex Stormlance, where I find that I just don't have a lot of bite. The durability is good, the movement's good, but it's just not enough to win me games. I just want to.
Well, yeah, because you don't. Yeah, without the characters, you don't hit as hard, and now you don't have the blood surge, so you don't even jail as well. So it's like, yeah, you can add the T6 Wolf in there, and just have extra units to jail with, but you're just only jailing. You're not doing damage. You're not blood surging. It's a little worse than it was, but if you're doing teams, you can make it work in certain situations. But I don't think just straight jailing is the way to go anymore, and they do lack damage buffs in that detachment.
They really do. The Stormlance felt the nerf of the Iron Priest. I think Gladius can still get away with it, Beast Slayer.
Yeah.
But you know what didn't really get touched with the nerf is Ironstorm.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say Ironstorm pre-nerf was freaking
crazy
S tier. Now it's still really, really good. So it got hurt. It's not as good, but I wouldn't say it's bad. It survived the nerf better, but it still felt it. It was ridiculous.
That's true.
Before.
Oh my gosh, pre-nerf with like reroll hits, like Predators with lethal sustained 5s, the 8 shots for 135 points. My God, you're totally right. I'm trying to cope with the nerf. It was necessary for us not to get a really big hammer nerf.
Yeah. Every time we made a list with it, we're like, this is stupid.
We both.
With the Predators, it was stupid. Like, the Lancer, you got extra shots on your, what was it, the D3 shot. Like, it didn't matter on anything but the Predator. On the Predator was dumb.
Yes, totally. But Ironstorm, I think, has some good synergies and just we just have really solid data sheets, well-rounded data sheets. So I was looking at like what is the most lethal shooting we can take as Space Wolves, and to me, it's an Iron Storm with the reroll one wound roll, lethal hits on one vehicle, sustained and lethal crit fives. The shooting in Iron Storm can be pushed to a 12. It gets really crazy. Let me tell you about a Repulsor Executioner in Iron Storm with an Iron Priest. This guy shoots 3 times with his big laser gun. Already amazing. Gets to reroll 1 wound roll. So you're hitting with Oath, and you usually wound 2 times, and you get to reroll that 3rd one. So it's not unlikely you get 3 AP4 D6 plus 4 damage wounds through, and just like make some saves. You make 1 6 up, cool. It's 2d6 plus 8. It does pop tanks very reliably. Even if you don't Oath it, you still maybe put 2 wounds on a target. Then you have the ability to punch up. You damage a target, you put lethal hits on your repulsor. Now you're lethal sustained 5s on 3 big guns with a reroll wound and like 40 other shots. The damage is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
That seems a little bonkers.
Let me tell you about other strats with Iron Storm. I mean, I'm kind of exploring. I've never played Iron Storm ever. People probably already know this, but there's this one strat. If you go below half strength, you get to shoot back as like full shooting. It's not Overwatch. You just get to shoot back. And let me tell you, you get to shoot those 3 shots again, and all of those other shots that maybe have lethals again in your opponent's shooting phase. So your opponent is punished for not killing your vehicles.
Yes.
And then additionally, you have an enhancement to blanket damage, which is so powerful because you can kind of like stick your tanks out really aggressively. If your opponent is not going to completely obliterate it, you can smoke it, maybe AOC, and then blanket damage, and all of a sudden you survive. All of a sudden you also shoot back, and then you also shoot back in your own in your own turn. So your vehicles can just be so oppressive on in shooting. This is a list that really the Iron Priests are S tier in.
Yes, this is one where you still take 2 probably.
You take 2. I'm even thinking about a 3rd.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I've gotten into, and then I'll talk about the rest of the components of the list, but I'm going to do a full list breakdown in about a week of my GT list I'm going to take to a golden ticket event. But essentially,
you don't want to give them all the sauce now before list submission.
Yeah. So what other synergies does Wolves have with Iron Storm? Well, I think we just have really good data sheets. We have really durable units. Bjorn synergizes really well with Iron Storm. MSU durable units. Think Wolfen. Think 3 Thunderwolf Cav. Think Terminators with Logan. Even Arjack. Get a reroll wound. They get access to AOC. They can push up really aggressively mid-board. Because you have such crazy shooting, you could be really aggressive with your deployment with your units. So, like, I usually start Thunderwolf Cavalry and Wolfen on the line. My opponent comes up to shoot them. They're going to need a real unit to shoot Thunderwolf Cavalry. They can't just, like, shoot them with bolters. They're going to do, like, 2 wounds, and I'll be like, cool, no big deal. But they need a real unit to shoot Thunderwolf Cavalry, and then my repulsors step out, or my Vindicator steps out. And it's like, because I have such an oppressive amount of shooting, I can be so much more aggressive early on with my units. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. I played into a number of different games. I played Eldar, anti-tank Eldar twice. I won both of those. I played into Custodes. I played into Subterranean Assault with 3. What are they? They're like the Lancer equivalent of. Are they Tyrannofexes? Yes. Yeah. 3 Tyrannofexes, and I won that shooting war like pretty handily. I played into 2 Caladius.
I believe have a damage blank thing too, right?
They do, which is really powerful. Mm-hmm. However, another thing to mention with Iron Storm, if you are damaged at all in your command phase, you can spend a CP to ignore all modifiers, minuses to hit, AOC, minuses to damage, turn damage to 0. That is a modifier to my damage characteristics. So now I can ignore it. And suddenly your Magnus blanking in damage is not blanking in damage. So then here's another interesting strat. You have an auto blow up on your tanks. So I usually stick an impulsor out turn 1, and they shoot the impulsor. They have to have an anti-tank thing to shoot the impulsor. I can auto blow it up and do damage to my repulsors, and then all of a sudden I'm spending a CP to ignore mods. It can get pretty crazy synergistic with.
That's funny. Hurt yourself to get buffs.
And then I heal back. So in the command phase, here's how it happens. I blow up. I do D3 wounds to my repulsor. Oh, boo. Dang, that sucks. I did 3 wounds. Oops. So now I'm wounded. In my command phase, when you do the strat, you spend a CP, you ignore mods. And then
you spend it in your command phase.
And then you heal
Then you heal with the iron.
Yes. And so you've taken no damage. You're taking 1 damage, but you are ignoring mods and shooting at so all of a sudden, like, a Vindicator with smoke and AOC is not smoking and is not AOC. You know what I mean?
We needed that strat in Champions of Rust so we could auto trigger.
It's a really good strat.
I know Champions of Rust is gone, but
man, let me tell you, against Custodes, here's what happened. He was winning a flank. He had a Caladius, a bike squad, Terminator or 2, and I think another unit on this flank. And I had a repulsor and an Iron Priest. The Caladius moves up. It was, I think, a couple of units were wounded. The Caladius moves up to shoot, shoots down my repulsor down to 3. I spend the shoot back strat. I hand him 3 wounds because I'm shooting. I'm wounding on 3s. I reroll 1 of them. He makes all the saves and he's like, yes, I did it. I'm going to live. But then all the rest of bolters were lethal. So I did like 7 wounds because of lethals. He rolled pretty bad. Then he kills me and I spend the auto blow up strat, and the repulsor executioner is deadly demise D6. So I rolled a 5, 6, and a 6 to his wounds. I killed the Caladius. I did 5 out of 6 wounds to his remaining bike captain. I killed the Terminator. I did 15 mortal wounds just with a single repulsor executioner and 2 CP. And the cherry on top, I had 3 hunting wolves. They took a D6 blow up. I only killed 2. So I had 1 hunting wolf left. And I was like, yeah.
Your Iron Priest, did he get it or 2?
He took 2 out of 4 wounds. So
nice.
I killed all of his stuff with a blow up. That's not normal, but it was so funny.
No, because normally you do like 1 or 2 wounds to hit guys and kill all your wolves and your Iron Priest.
And then that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
So Ironstorm like has some synergies, but it really the units just love having big guns to cover them as they move up the board. I get really aggressive with the Terminators. I get really aggressive with Wolfen. I get really aggressive with Thundercab and an Impulsor. And then whatever pops out to deal with them just gets wiped off the board with shooting.
Yeah. That's another thing I'm really liking about this codex is everything we were just kind of stuck in before for like the last year and a half. We're exploring new stuff. We're jumping between detachments, trying stuff. It's just fun to be actually exploring again instead of, all right, I kind of have Stormlance figured out.
Champions of Rust figured out.
Yeah, do I play well? Do I avoid my one bad matchup? Like, there's not only so much you can change because you've already explored it all. Like, I like that we're exploring again.
Yeah, I mean, I think there also is a lot of depth to the Codex attachments. I think Beast Lair has a lot of depth. Same with Bold. And honestly, if you get a lot of reps with Hunter, I think Hunter could be good because it's such an amazing buff. There is a lot of depth in the Codex.
Especially right now when Knights are big, because you're pretty much always going to outnumber them.
Always outnumber them. You always get +1 to hit, probably +1 to wound.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've been having a lot of fun with Ironstorm. I think it has a lot of power. It's been out shooting people, and my skirmishers have just been out skirmishing people. So I've kind of like tabled most opponents. Caveat, and I was mentioning about Knights earlier. I played into a Chaos Knight army. I did not understand or respect their shooting. They had so much shooting. It was just unreal. And I got my ass handed to me. It was a learning game.
Yeah, because you said they were running triple despoiler, all double Gatling.
Triple despoiler, all double Gatling. 3
I haven't seen. Yeah, in fairness, I haven't seen that build yet. I've seen Atropos, I've seen double, I've seen triple, I've seen Lancers, I see Abominants, I've seen 1 despoiler, I've seen the Tyrants. I have not seen 3 despoiler yet. That sounds scary.
It was
especially for
really
wolves.
scary. They could lethals, they could +3 move. They just got angles where they needed to. I exposed way too much. I split up my shooting. I should not have. I should have bunched up my shooting. And all in all, to say it was a really tough matchup, but I know how to play that. I think I have a good match. I have a decent chance of winning. So I'm happy with Iron Storm. It doesn't provide a lot of like face value buffs to our like melee units. I will say also rerolling one hit wound or damage just all the time is just a good buff.
Yep.
You know, you get it in gold.
Yep. I'm saying the nice thing is our armies or our data sheets in the Wolf Book are just really, really durable for the most part.
Yes.
So you buff all this shooting, and our units are just like, I'm here and hard to kill. You can't get to my shooting.
Exactly.
So they don't necessarily even need damage buffs. They're just holding you off, and then all the shooting does the main damage.
I can't even tell you, like even with Logan synergizes too, because in Iron Storm you're kind of really slow. But if you deep strike turn 1 with this really durable brick that has AOC -1 to wound, that is just such a speed bump for opponents to get through. So you can really just send out this wave of T6, T5 -1 to wound, 4-up invulns, all 3 damage, durable units that can be really aggressive and with heavy shooting behind. I found it's been a really good archetype. I played a Custodius player with my Stormlance or with a Gladius list, and we tied. It was like 67 to 64. It was a really close game. And then I played it with an Ironstorm list, this Ironstorm that I'm running. And it was like 80 to 60. So it was like 80 to 55 or something. It was like such a vast difference. So that's my Ironstorm rant. I'm gonna put out an Ironstorm video probably this week or next. I'm quite happy with it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Joe. You got to kill basically 3 big knights before you get your buff in Hunter, so that could be tough into the 6th night.
It'd be really tough.
And yeah, that's a real cheap unit for what it can do. They're not very survivable, but they're cheap. So yeah, so you could spam that. Like that's something I thought would be funny in a drop pod. Like 4 3-mans, each with a character, drop it up somewhere, and just like 3 grenades, rapid ingress at 3 grenades exploding out places. That could be funny.
Quite powerful, yeah. The 150, you get sustained reroll ones. You don't need land. You don't need oath.
No.
And then if you get +1 to wounded anyway, that unit can punch up really hard.
Yeah, because that's what 18 attacks. Like that's for a 3-man with paired. That's crazy.
Yeah, 18 attacks, sustained reroll ones. Then you get the 7 or 5 attacks with the character. Very good unit.
Absolutely. So I had we were talking about Logan being durable. I had the other week the first time I had Logan die really early. Died turn 2 in a game against Tau.
How did that go?
It was fine. He charged out, did a bunch of wounds to. I don't know if it was a ghost kill. I think it was a ghost kill. Then he fell everything back and just shot his whole army at Logan and picked his unit up. And I was like, oh. So I was like, man, that never happens. But then everything else got in. Arjack got in his line. The Thunderwolves got in his line. Everything else got in his line. And I was basically picked up his army from there because once you're in them, it's over. Because their first turn or two of shooting, they can do a lot of damage. And if you can get to them. So I was kind of a little worried when it happened, but then once I got into him, Arjack's unit was still alive, and this was only a 5-man Arjack unit. Arjack still had 4 Terminators with him at the end of that game.
Wow.
Because he exposed everything to kill Logan, and then I was just in him, my shooting killed some stuff, and then I killed his biggest threats, and then that game was over.
Yeah, I'm really curious about Arjack. I tried him in one game. I was impressed with him.
Yeah. Well, he comes with Terminators, which is great. And by himself, 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 8, neg 2, 3 damage, anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3-up, full reroll to hit and wounds into characters with, I believe, built-in precision.
Built-in precision.
Yeah, so it's just, and most of the time I don't even go after the character, although in my Necron game I picked out that stupid Technomancer. But normally I'm like, the characters are okay, but I'd rather just put the full rear rolls into the squad because it gets it against character unit, not just character model anymore. So you can just throw its full re rolls into the squad.
Right. Totally, yeah. Matt's just got another interesting question. Double Iron Priest no longer efficient in lists like Stormlance and Beast Slayer. Ugh. So what are your thoughts on this?
I think double, it's no longer efficient because Iron Priest basically now just gives you 1 extra shot.
Yes.
Stormlance, I just feel you want more combat stuff, probably the same with Beast Slayer, because you're trying to tech into the lethals, which more attacks is better. So gaining 1 attack isn't that big, especially 2 Iron Priests. It's 120 points. So that's a whole nother little head taker squad with wolves, or another Thunderwolf squad. I mean, you're almost to a Terminator squad at that point. Like, there's a lot you can do with that 120 points.
Right. For me, I think the Iron Priest is really only worth it on a Repulsor Executioner, honestly. A Lancer, you get a good value out of it, but 3 shots on a Lancer for 180 points, just it still isn't like that efficient, except for into tanks. But then there's always the chance you don't shoot tanks, or you shoot stuff with invulns, and it, But Repulsor Executioner, I think, is good value. And I think there's two lists that really like, maybe even 3, that really like Iron Priest Repulsor Executioner combos. I think Ironstorm, like we talked about, the reroll wounds is crazy. Lethal Stain 5, shoot back, everything I talked about. Beast Slayer, lethals on all those shots with an Iron Priest that can heal and that extra shot, really valuable. Also Gladius, ignoring cover, advancing and shooting, +1 AP. I think also could be quite valuable. For me, I think if you're not running Repulsor Executioners, I would stay away from double Iron Priest. Yeah. New Space Wolf player, nail down a list. 2 Las Predators, Repex. 3 tanks is too much for Beast Slayer. No, Beast Slayer is great with tanks.
Yep. Yep, I see. I don't think you necessarily need 2 Iron Priests, 1 for the Executioner. Predators, I like the Predators. You got the lethal there, still 3 shots. I wouldn't go too many more tanks in that in Beast Slayer.
Right.
If you started going more tanks than that, you might as well just switch over to Ironstorm to give all that shooting buffs. But
yeah. I mean, I like Beast Slayer a lot because it buffs shooting all the time. Like lethals on everything. Now your Overwatch is scary, especially if you have an Oath in Overwatch. Every 6 rerolling is a wound. It's quite solid. Craig saying 3 shots of Lancer is great. You have to reroll hit, wound, and damage. Having 3 shots almost guarantees 2 shots through. Difference between killing a tank or hurting it, I think. Yeah. I mean,
depends on what you're shooting. And they're like regular tanks, so I find you're shooting knights, you play Grey Knight, anything that can somehow get to a 4-up. Now, oops, I made 2 4-ups instead of 1. You didn't hurt me at all. So it's like, So I find in certain matchups, just limited shots can really, really hurt. If they just, hit a couple more saves than they could, and you're like, I just completely bounced for no reason.
Yeah, I think 1 Iron Priest is fair. 1 Lancer with an Iron Priest is still good. It's good anti-tank. It's okay into everything else.
Yep. Yeah, because 2 Iron Priests, just find 15 more points and take a Predator. So instead of giving 2 shots, 1 to this thing, 1 to that thing, now you have 3 shots, 4 on the turn you shoot the Hunter Killer. So now you just, instead of, you got more shots that way for only 15 more points.
Yeah, I will say, though, Iron Priests, in some of those lists I talked about, Gladius, Beast Slayer, Ironstorm, it really helps out with your action economy. Like, I draw Sabotage, I draw Recover Assets, I draw Cleanse. I'm like, cool, 2 Iron Priests, they're going to go do that. And they're lone op, so you're not going to get, randomly sniped. They're still really solid units.
Yeah, make sure you're positioning and using them to do other stuff instead of just like, I just stood here all game and gave 1 shot to this vehicle all game.
Totally.
They have. Make sure they do actions.
They're good damage. They're actually really good damage.
Yeah, if they get into combat, hopefully stuff's not getting back to charger shooting. But in your case, you're running enough shooting that they probably do get charged more often.
Yeah,
you're only running like 1 or 2 tanks. Hopefully, they're not getting charged too often. But if they do, having that Iron Priest come in with full reroll to wound, it's wound, right?
It's wounds, yeah.
Yeah, full reroll to wounds, that's not bad.
It's pretty fantastic because they have 4 attacks. They hit on 4s, but you get to reroll 1 hit and then all wounds. So it's like you can reliably put 2 to 3 wounds that are 3 damage on most anything. And then they get a reroll wound on their 3 damage AP3 pistol. So they do pretty good damage for 60 points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're not bad. They're just not auto take like they were with the 8-shot Predator.
Totally.
And if you do bring them, make sure they're doing stuff other than just standing there and giving out the extra shot. Use them to do secondaries,
screen actions.
Screen, yep. because they're blown up. They can move 3 inches behind your tank, even out where somebody could see them, as long as they can't get line of sight to it, to help push out deep strikes. To like worst case scenario, I drop in for a 6-inch charge, right? Well, now you charge the Iron Priest and not my tank.
Yeah, totally. And I will say I'm running Iron Storm also half because I just painted up 2 Iron Priests. They're really cool, and I want to use them.
I was lucky. I had 2 Iron Priests. One of them's old, like 2nd edition, old, this like stand like this guy. So I didn't have to paint up any new ones, so I don't have that in there to make me want to have to run them. I'm like, these guys have been painted for years.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
So speaking of painting up, you got anything painting on your desk?
I'm working on getting 20 Terminators and a Battle Leader painted. They're about halfway. Logan and Arjack are pretty much done. I just have to wash and base them. But I got to get 15 of those Terminators and the Battle Leader done before Friday night because I got a GT Saturday. Like RTTs around here, they normally get you away with not being fully painted, but for the GT, I got to get them done. So,
right, yeah, okay, sounds like a good bit on your table. I'm also painting up Terminators. I'm finishing.
I think most of us are.
I know.
People are done with them, but and that's another thing. I want to give a shout out back to Michael Mann from Art of War, seeing actual Space Wolf Terminators and Thunderwolves on there instead of, as much as I love John Lennon, that ugly white blue Space Marine army with just the wolves thrown in that color scheme. He was running the white blue Vindicators though, but all the wolves actually looked nice.
Yeah, wolves need to paint in their own scheme. So
yeah, that's something he promised he was going to do. Get the actual wolves and wolves colors, and he did. I run my red wolves. You run your cornate looking wolves. So
with Heresy wolf colors. The Heresy wolf colors, dark gray and black and gold, look really nice.
Yeah. So as much as we're talking about how nice it is to see somebody with actual wolf colors, we don't do it, but his army does look great. And I do love the gray, but I went years ago when Space was real popular. I did my own thing just to stand out, and I just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've converted every model I've ever built for the last 10 years. These Wolfguard Terminators and Wolf and Logan are the first models I've not converted at all because they're so freaking cool.
Yeah, I haven't done anything to the Terminators. I did switch out a shield and shoulder pad on Arjack, which I showed you, and I custom built my own Logan. I do have regular Logan still in the box, which I'll build at some point, the actual Logan, but I got the ones that match my chapter.
Here's a question with Logan: throwing or not throwing?
Oh, you mean Arjack?
Arjack. Yeah.
Learn your wolves, Aiden.
I know. What the hell?
Personally, mine is not throwing because my old Finecast throwing broke his hammer off within the first time I tried to take him to a tournament, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with that, trying to glue this hammer on 100 times over the next couple of years. So transport reasons, not throwing. Which one I think looks cooler is throwing.
Yeah, throwing does look really cool.
Yeah, I'm just not dealing with that thing snapping off on me again. So,
yeah.
All right, cool. So, anything else you want to get into before we wrap up? Any other questions from anybody in chat?
Yeah, I'm curious. No, not particularly. I'm so excited to play Wolves. I have been trying to get as many TTS games in. My girlfriend is humoring me with how many Wolves games I've been playing. But head takers and termies, they're all fantastic models.
Yeah. And next week we'll be doing a breakdown of how things went for me at the GT, and then Aiden will be letting us know what's going on with him going into his GT.
Ooh, Peaches with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. That is awesome. So tell us, thoughts on regular Termini squad with Libby in Beastlayer, sustained and lethals on that unit, Cyclone, Stormbolters, and Power Fists. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there is something to be said about because that 1 5-man would put out 20 plus D6 sustained lethal shots.
Yeah, and they does he give them protection against mortals or psychic?
Psychic, I think it's a 4-up Feel No Pain. Let me double check. Which is very good against Grey Knights and Thousand Suns.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't hate that.
Man, but if a Terminator could join, Librarian could join Wolfguard Terminators.
Oh, dude, let's not get into the keyword restrictions again.
Dude,
That's like, there's so much stuff I wish we could do.
Do we want to talk about the Black Templars not getting the keyword restrictions? They can join regular
That's one of the
stuff,
first things I looked at. It's like, oh, did they get it? Nope, only Space Wolves. Because we were thinking, oh, maybe this is a preview of what's coming for Space Marine 2.0. And they're like, no, that's just extra. We don't like you Space Wolf guys. Take this.
Yeah. But Peaches, to your point, anything that can get volume of fire is really good in Beast Slayer.
Yeah, Beast
So it's
Slayer
just-
likes lots of shots.
Yes.
Yeah, Stormbolters are all of a sudden really good. Cyclones. I like the versatility of Cyclones. Oh, here's some crack into your tank. Oh, you're running Horde. Here's some frag. Like, yeah, I've always
Sustained
liked
and
Cyclone.
lethals.
Sustained and lethal, yep.
I mean, that's going to be a very solid unit. It'll be durable, put out a lot of damage. Even in melee, sustained lethals, maybe just quite solid.
I mean, they do only move 5 inches. Ew. No, I'm just
Deep
kidding.
Strike. Come on.
I don't know. I'm just joking. Our Termies move 6. Like,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Yes.
But no,
Everyone
'cause
knows. Yeah.
because I was playing around with possibly taking a regular Termie or Assault Termie in my Champions of Fenris just because they got extra buffs for Terminator. So, yeah, Terminator characters are still really, really good, depending on the attachment. Like in Bold, I don't like them as much because a couple of the strats are Space Wolf character unit, not just character unit, which kind of limits the versatility. But I don't think Beast Slayer has quite that restriction as Space Wolf on a lot of the strats.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine.
It doesn't have like a lot of synergy with strats. I think you can like react to the move. You can do a couple other minor strats. The biggest thing is you just get lethals all the time, which is a really good.
I'm just saying, like Hunter and Bold have some restrictions that only affect Space Wolf unit or Space Wolf characters. Beast Slayer doesn't. So of our detachments, that's the one that most synergizes with regular Marine units.
Totally. Yeah. Well, Peaches, thank you again so much for the $5.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. And Blood Claws being all going Rhinos. Yeah, now they're Tacticus. We can't take 5-man, so they can't get in Impulsors.
Man,
you have to take Land Raiders or Repulsors.
I would so take a 10-man Blood Claw on a Rhino. I would so take a 5-man Blood Claw on an Impulsor.
Yeah. I just want to be able to put Nyal in a Stern Guard unit.
Oh my God. Oh, don't even start with me, man. Assault, auto 6 advance, reloading wounds with his weapon. Oh, so
I want a Terminator captain with a free CP and reroll charges in a Terminator and a Wolfguard Terminator unit.
Well, I want a chaplain with 4 up against mortals and +1 to wound in that Wolfguard Terminator unit because they would just slap.
Oh. Yes. Yeah.
Your grenade? Nope, 4 up. Tank shock? Don't care.
Yeah.
The restrictions
5 power weapons. Who cares? We got +1 to wound. Yeah, that would be such a big. They made us good. They couldn't let us be great.
They always hate on wolves. I mean,
yeah, there's always something like that keyword restriction. I was fine with it when I thought maybe everything was going that way, and now seeing Templars didn't get it, I'm like, all right, this is dumb.
It's dumb. I mean, but thankfully they did make our data sheets just generally amazing.
Yeah.
They made
and our models
really
look better
good.
than everybody else's.
And the models, oh my God, we're just cooler in every way.
We are too. So are the Space Wolves.
All
right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back Tuesday. I got a video coming out tomorrow about my Champions of Fenris final thoughts. A video coming out either Thursday or Friday about going over my Gladius list I'm taking to the GT. We'll review how that went next week on Tuesday. Aiden probably next week will put out a video on his Iron Storm. And then the week after that, we'll get a rundown of how he did at the GT. So we got some exciting stuff coming up.
Totally. Looking forward to it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Aiden. Thank you, everybody. And we will catch you all next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for watching Almost Functional Gaming. We appreciate the support of all followers of Russ and the Allfather. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional score tracker on Amazon. Everything helps support the growth of this channel, and we appreciate it.